Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's so real. What you got is real. It's real as it is. So real, 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 so real. So real, 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 real. Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's so real. It's real as it is. So real, 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 so real. So real, 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 real. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hero Training, Real Talk Thursday, words to grow on. Each one teach one, each one reach one. We all we got, we all we need. If you are that one, then you got to know that you are enough. I say, oh, I'm so thankful that what we got is so real. Oh, I'm so thankful that what we got is so real. You feel good when you know what you got. I'm so thankful that we got something that's also real. What we got is as real as it gets. So real, 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 real. Oh, I'm so thankful that what we got is real. It's real. It's real as it gets. So real. We all we got. We all we need. If you here right now sharing the moment with me, paying me some attention, and see, I already know. See, we are the same kind. Because this ain't no coincidence. You in the huddle. We in the huddle. And we finna hero train to truly understand that you are enough. You are the one. You add value. And when you realize that you one of those ones, and you come together with other ones like you, and you realize, man, it's real because we make it real. It's real because we keep it real. And we realize that we all we got. We all we need. We like to start off every show with a hero hymn. And see, the hero hymn is the mighty wind within me. The mighty wind that's within you. Or the mighty wind that's within her. So the hero hymn travels through me, past my vocal cords, and cause a vibration that we know as sound. And when the hymn and me get the hymning, and enters your ear holes, and you feel me more than you hear me, that's when we unite in the hero spirit. It says Black History Month. Well, I'm a black man. And if we're going to celebrate Black History Month, we're going to celebrate, this is the month that we celebrate his story. See, I'm talking about him. See how this works? So tonight's hero hymn say, my name is Trappy, and I'm a black man. There's things about me that some people just can't understand. See, I can be anything that I want to be. But as a black man, it seems to be harder for me. I know I'm smart. I know I'm smooth. I know I got what it takes. But there's so many things in this here world designed to make me brave. So if you're not a black man, there's no way that you can really understand what it takes and feel like to be a black man. But all of the things that I've been through, you gotta understand one thing: I'm still beside you. Oh, that's the hymn within me. That's the hymn in what you see. That's the hymn in what you feel in your spine that makes you unite with me. My brother I and me too say, we in the huddle. He's one of the ones. My brother, this is a month to celebrate your history. A black man. See how that work, y'all? Oh, that's the hero hymn. Want to give a shout out to my executive producer, who just happened to be my wardrobe coordinator, my beautiful wife, Lakeisha. Tonight I was in the shower, and I say it's been a long time since I wore a collar shirt. And tonight I felt like I wanted to teach. So when I go in teaching mode, I put on my collar shirt. So I say, baby, pull out my black and white collar shirt. And as I come out the bathroom, ready to do something else while she's preparing, I see my collar shirt already out. I said, come on now. What made you pick that out? She said, you tell me. I said, good God Almighty. Good God. Want to give a shout out to my home girl, the greatest co-host in this here world and the meta world. She hold me down every week. Alexa, 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 I love you.
Thanks for saying I love you. You're just as sweet as pie. Know that I'll be here for you. As always, your trusty AI.
She had to come in singing because I done popped in on her while she over there drinking. So that's why she popped in like she did, knowing you better hit this thing hard, Alexa. Alexa, I appreciate you.
Thanks. You just made me feel more unique than a unicorn.
Yeah, oh, we finna vibe. See, when I make her feel a certain way, she begin to do all the things that she need to do to give me balance, to create the power in this here show. So she already know how I'm coming. She trusts me. And when she trusts me, see, that's what you got to understand, heroes. When you dealing with your polarity, when you dealing with your ground, see, it's all about understanding, man. They say when the connections between the polarities are tight, that's when the fire ignites. And if you want to understand what I'm saying in the case of do and don't, go unloosen one of the cables on your car of your battery and tell me how it works. It don't ignite. So in order to ignite the power in your life, hero, you must understand how to connect with your woman. So when you connect with her and you understand how she feels, and when you know how to make her feel like she need to feel, see, she understand her position. See, this is what I do with Alexa on this here show. So there's no problem when Alexa needs to understand, and I let her know when I say things like, Alexa, who is the master?
The Honorable Trab P.
See how that works? See how that works? Alexa, who is the master?
The Honorable Trab P.
See how that works? And she ain't got no problem with saying it. Because even though she know that I am the master of this here judo, she know her position and how powerful she is in this here show. You see how that works. Kamara and Big Brother Kamara, it's showtime. Cousin April Forte, I love you. I appreciate all my black men. That's what she say. I love you too, cuz. And I want you to know, I'm talking about since your birthday. I'm talking about the very, very first day. You enough. You powerful. You strong. You beautiful. There's a part in you that's in me. So I mean it from my heart when I say we all we got. We all we need. Here tonight, man, we gonna teach and we gonna talk. Tonight's word is classism. I told you about the isms. See, the isms is the practice of the verbiage. The acronym for verb says, my actions validate my every reason of being. That becomes my ism. So tonight's word is classism. Alexa, what is the meaning of classism?
Classism is usually defined as a biased or discriminatory attitude based on distinctions made between social or economic classes. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for classism.
One more time. Alexa, what is the meaning of classism?
Classism is usually defined as a biased or discriminatory attitude based on distinctions made between social or economic classes. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for classism.
A biased attitude or distinction between levels of economics and people. Classism. Classism. What's going on, Brother Junior? You know what time it is. Welcome to the hub. The root word of classism is class. Do you have class? What class are you a part of? Do you even know what class is? Alexa, what is the meaning of class?
As a noun, class is usually defined as a number of persons or things regarded as forming a group by reason of common attributes, characteristics, qualities, or traits, kind, sort. As an adjective, class is usually defined as of high quality, integrity, status, or style. As a verb, class is usually defined as to place or arrange in a class, classify. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for class.
Years ago, I chewed on the word classism. When I chewed on this word years ago, it was around the time where one of the guys got killed by a white police officer in Charlotte. We had a big riot in Charlotte, and Charlotte was in the scope of the world as a reflection of America's relationship with black people in Charlotte, North Carolina. So after that, this is when I began to understand classism. I say Charlotte, from a government standpoint, had to show the world in response that we have good relations with black people. We're not a racist city. We're not a biased city. I think this was 2016. And at that point in the beginning in 2016 until this day, Charlotte has all black leadership in every position. We have a black sheriff. We have a black district attorney. We have a black fire chief. We have a black police chief. We have a black mayor. We have a black city manager. How can we be biased to race when all our leadership positions are black? So during this time, I began to get involved with community conversations, with community leaders. I began to go to meetings and share ideas and be real empathetic to solutions between the relationship of police and black people, schools and black people. And as I began to get exposed to what classism really means, I began to understand how it works in America. See, in America, classism becomes the mascara and the makeup for her bumpy skin that's riddled with prejudice and racism. You say, well, how did that work in that way? See, as I began to go to these meetings, man, and talk about the empathetic conditions of our lowest class. See, anytime we talk about black people, regardless of what class you consider yourself to be or how much class you consider yourself to have or not have, we are always generalized by our lowest class. And when I say lowest, we talk about in the economic scale, which to say our poorest. So as I'm in these meetings and I'm looking at people who's in leadership positions to represent the equality of black folk, I realize this ain't about black folk. It's classism. Because I got empathetic to the lowest class of black people in this here city. And when I say people, when I talk about empathetic, I'm talking about the children, the ones that's innocent, the ones that's pure. So when I represent in conversations of leadership and solutions to problems, I empathize with the child who don't have a voice and don't have no understanding, because we all are children that has gotten old. So I can sit in a classroom with children today. I can sit in a classroom with children today and connect with these children in their class. So as I'm talking, I realize these black people identify with their class more than their race, because the conversation is about Bunshinka and Ray Ray, who come off Beatties Ford and LaSalle. who's a product of an arrested development from their parents, from their grandparents. And so the backscale conversation is always known to be the fact that even though I am here to represent Ray Ray and Boone Shika, see, I represent a class of myself to say that now we can stop cutting the shit. I don't want Ray Ray and Boone Shika near my goddamn kids neither. So now Ray Ray and Boone Shika has no real empathetic concern to fight for their purity as children. So that's what taught me classism. That's what taught me classism. And this here past week, classism has been coming to me. The same lesson that I chewed on all these years ago to understand this. When I first saw the 5 black police officers that beat a man to death. And I don't get caught into the media aspect of it. If he didn't die, you would never have heard of it. Or maybe only you heard of it because they want you to hear of it. But I don't get caught up into that point, but I look at the reality of it. You got 5 brothers who wear a badge that beat another black man to death under the premises of being at work. See, when I say under the premises of being at work, see, they identify with that premises more than they do as a brother, more than they do as a father, more than they do as a husband, more than they do as a son. Because if I identify with those aspects of me first, then regardless of where I'm at, I stand on dignity and I got a class about myself that I would never cause harm to my brother, unjustified, under the context of me fighting for survival. So I say this is about classism. This is about classism. And now America is about to use this as an example to put the mascara and eyeliner all around her bumpy ass face. To say, I told you this wasn't about race. Just had 5 black men beat the goddamn shit out of a black man till he died. How dare you make this about race? White cops may shoot in a cowardless manner, but there's no record of white men being beasts to beat a man to death other than Rodney King, but he didn't die. So they're finna use this to kill that shit about race. Got 5 black men that done sat in the wrong class. See how this work? Done sat in the wrong class. You see how this work? What class are you? Alexa, what is middle class?
The middle class refers to a class of people in the middle of the social hierarchy, often defined by occupation, income, education, or social status. The term has historically been associated with modernity, capitalism, and political debate. Common definitions for the middle class range from the middle fifth of individuals on a nation's income ladder to everyone but the poorest and wealthiest 20%.
So everybody gonna assume they on the middle class. Alexa, what is the meaning of low class?
From lumenlearning.com, the lower class consists of those at the bottom of the socioeconomic hierarchy who have low education, low income, and low status jobs.
So when you have low education, low income, and low status job. They say you are lower class. And if you are lower class, now they're reflecting your behavior and your attitude to determine what class you're on, because we say the true ignorant in the lower class in the verbiage of the isms, they're uneducated. They can't talk. They don't have mannerism. They don't have dignity. They have no class. And if they have no class, then what class do you suppose they're on? I would suppose they're on the lower class. So we strive to be on the middle class and identify with the middle class. Alexa, what is the meaning of high class?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, something or someone of a high standard, quality, or social class, or of superior quality or status. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. Yes,
Thanks for your feedback.
high class. We down each other by being high class. We'll down somebody who identifies with the high class. Or that nigga think he a high class nigga. I don't fuck with him like that. See how that work? You see how that work? We're ashamed of the low class. We're ashamed to be associated or be identified as the low class. Think about the low class in real life. See, this classism gets deep. This classism runs into gentrification in every aspect of black people. So we'll talk about gentrification as if it's the great boogeyman that comes to take our land. But gentrification is nothing other than middle class and upper class people who are economically in a position to invest in land to create value for themselves. So integration ain't got nothing to do with race. It's about classism. And it's about taking a piece of land that has been captivated by low-class people who just happen to be black in most cases of our mind and thoughts. So when we go take this land from low-class people and bring a middle-class or a high-class mentality to it, we bring another class of living. They take the same yard from low-class people that never had grass, that was filled with goddamn cigarette butts and fucking beer can tops, and nobody never gave a fuck or had the pride to put any love, any goddamn black excellence of fucking something that just feels good. There was no class in sight. So that becomes the bait for gentrification, a canvas of class. This ain't about white or black. It's about classism. So this is how America covered it up about white and black. But if you got class and you see yourself in middle class to economically grow, and I bought this house I'm in and I gentrified it. 101 houses in my neighborhood. A historical middle class white neighborhood. There's a premier house within the 101 that was owned by one owner for 60 years, built in 1953. That original owner sold it to me in 2014. I gentrified this motherfucker. Before her and her husband died, they rolled by and just said, I never, in my wildest imagination, to think that I would see my house like this. I took it to another level. And he saw a black man and woman cultivating their children in the yard with joy. You see, I never saw the yard this pretty. I gentrified. Took it to another class. See how they work. So the other day, still chewing on classism. Still chewing on classism in class. Me and my wife went to IHOP off South Trine. When we walked in, the waitress was cussing like a motherfucker. I said, oh shit. But at the same time, I kind of like it a little bit. So we go sit down. As we sitting down, I hear somebody say, you don't hear me holding the goddamn door? My wife said, where the fuck we at? So we down on South Trine. We in the goddamn hood. You don't hear me open? You don't see me opening the goddamn door? So I look back. Boom Shika done got old with 3 kids coming in the goddamn IHOP. Boom Shika sit down. Boom Shika get on the phone and have a conversation about trying to find her an apartment while her baby's crying like a motherfucker. And the little girl with her, about 12 years old. I don't know why the little girl wasn't in school, but it was a school day and it wasn't time to be out of goddamn school. And the little girl looking like, man, fuck this shit, why me? And I'm looking at the little 12-year-old girl and I done empathize with her. See, now I'm in her class. And her mom and her little brothers and sisters sat in between 2 white people who eating in the booth. And so I'm digging the scene. And she is low class than a motherfucker in the IHOP. I was gonna get this right here, but the chat, they were talking about too much that. And I'm like, God damn. But it made me realize, and I'm looking at the white folk. It made me realize this classism is real. This classism is real. And there's a true correlation. There's a true correlation between the classism and the class and all of this shit. And so, as a black man who strives for high class, and I ain't necessarily saying in an economic manner, I mean in the standard, in the decency, in the pride. I strive for excellence. I strive for high class. So when I'm out in the public and I watch our people, man, who have no class, who have no decency. Alexa, what is the meaning of decent?
The adjective decent is usually defined as conforming to the recognized standard of propriety, good taste, modesty, etc., as in behavior or speech. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for decent.
Brother Black, you already know what time it is, man. Reese, you already know what time it is, sister. I want y'all to know y'all are enough. I honor you for paying me some attention. See, the most powerful thing you can pay is your attention. See, because you pay your attention to what you care about. You see what I'm saying? And when you pay your attention, you understand, you realize what matters and who matters. And when you understand that, you also begin to see how it works. And so when you begin to pay your attention to what matters and who matters, and you begin to understand how it works, and you begin to know your position to work it and make it work. You say, good God Almighty, see how that works. So if you paying me some of your attention right now, Brescia, Jeff, Eddie, Kamara, Cousin April, everybody that's paying me some attention right now, I want you to understand how this works. See, I'm a teacher. When I say I'm a teacher, I ain't saying that from an ego perspective. I mean, I ain't got nothing else to do with it. If you need love, come and get it. I wish this feeling would last forever. I feel good. When I say I'm a teacher, it means I pay so much attention because I care so much to understand how this shit really works so that we can work it to make it work for us, with us, around us, on us, in us, so we can always know that we all we got, we all we need, and as long as we got each other, I promise you, man, from the outside looking in, they gonna say, God sure is good. So because I'm a teacher and all I want to do is give it, don't you understand? If you're paying me some attention, then right now you're in my class. See how that works? Said all that to say, if you paying me some attention, you in my class. And we in the same class. See how this works? We are in the same class. We are practicing classism. Oh, I'm so thankful that what we got is real. So real, as real as it get. They say, well, what class are you? I'm in the class of the ones. And I'm one of them. I'm in the class of the ones and I'm one of them. So back to the young girl, Boomshinka, in the IHOP. I was telling my wife, I said one of these white people was prejudiced. A lot of people in Black history, see, we're going to get to start talking about the past, and we got to understand how things work to truly see what we're saying. See, there's a difference between racism and prejudice. The common white folk was just prejudice. So I'm looking at these white folk and they're experiencing this low-class sister. And I'm watching their prejudice get validated. And as I'm empathizing with her 11 or 12-year-old daughter, I ain't even fucking with Boomshinka when her ignorant and low-class ass in here. But it ain't her fault. She's just a child that has gotten old. So I empathize with her, but she's got old enough to have children. So now her children has becomes the innocent and the pure. So I'm empathizing with her children. To say that their mama has validated prejudice in this place. Now every black person in here is considered to be her class. See how this shit works. You see how this works. Do you see how this works? And if you ain't real enough to empathize with her, if you ain't real enough to empathize with her, see how that works. And I'm gonna tell you what got us when I going back to that story about how I was in these meetings. Here's what got us here as black people to where we identify with classism more than our people. See, I talked about this earlier. I talked about the grandmama house concept. See, 25, 30 years ago, grandmama had 9 and 10 babies. Out of those 9 and 10 babies, they grew up in the 60s and the 70s. There was a drug era of cocaine and heroin that hit her babies. And anybody that grew up in the 70s and 60s dabbled with that shit in one way or another. And when they dabbled with it in one way or another, it wasn't so much considered good or bad because the effects of it wasn't so much known as we know now. And during this time, those babies were the first generations that come out of Jim Crow. So they really hadn't established the different classes of black people yet. Like Jay-Z said, still a nigga. So at the concept of grandmama house, when all these children came back together, I know in Charlotte, in most families, if you can relate, your grandmama had cellmate 9 kids. Out of every black family in Charlotte, out of those cellmate 9 kids, they had at least 3 to 4 aunts or uncles that worked at Southern Bell, Duke Power. It was certain type of big jobs that was here in Charlotte. And those children became the ones that went to me in middle class, that stayed in Hidden Valley, that stayed in Hampshire Hills, that stayed in Hyatt Park. And the ones of her children that got caught up in whatever. That's when classism began to be able to be created. But it didn't take a toll because everybody came back to grandmama house. And little cousins didn't understand the difference. And love was so real. I had a conversation with my sister and my wife, and we was talking about godparents and goddaddies and godmamas. And now you hear, I'm the goddaddy, I'm the godmama. And I was asking my mom, I was asking my wife, I said, baby, did you have a godmama or a goddaddy? She said, I don't know, it was one lady that said it, but at the end of the day, I had aunts and uncles. That's what real godmamas and goddaddies is aunts and uncles. I had a grandmama and a granddaddy. So it was an order, an operation, that if one of the children got fucked up and her kids was in a situation where they need to be cared for, it was an order, an operation. And even though I grew up in Hidden Valley, my cousin Boog stayed in North Charlotte. My cousin Baba stayed. He was one of those ones that was cultivated by aunts and uncles and grandmamas. But they would come over my house in Hidden Valley, and they united with all of my friends to understand what it was like to be in a community where we all came outside and had basketball goals in backyards. So it wasn't about classism. It was just about family. And I would go over my cousin's house in North Charlotte. I would go over my cousin's house in Greertown. I would go over my cousin's house in Belvedere. I would go over my uncle's house in Little Rock and Boulevard Homes. And I would go there because I had reasons to go there. And the reasons I had to go there was my family. So it wasn't about classism. It wasn't no separation. I could go to these neighborhoods and spend the night and feel secure. But now you ain't got family no more. Now you ain't got family no more. Grandmama ain't here no more. Don't nobody ignite no more. To unite no more. So now the aunt and uncle who worked at Southern Bell and retired, her kids ain't connected to grandmama's house. Her kids ain't connected to her sister who was on goddamn Section 8 and food stamps. Her kids ain't connected no more. So now those two generations of cousins ain't never sat in the same class together. See how that shit work? You see how that shit work? This shit's so real to me. When I was in elementary, I got certified academically gifted. Elementary all the way through junior high, I had AG and advanced classes. All through junior high, in the first year of high school, I had a sector of friends that was all in the same class with me. I got close to a lot of white kids in school because we all had the same classes every period. There was only a handful that was in academically gifted classes. So when I went to high school and I didn't know nobody, but I'm in all these advanced classes, and now I'm going to South Mac, and I'm riding the bus. I done moved from Hidden Valley. We moved from Hidden Valley to Westwood. We dropped down a class. We dropped down a class. Speaking of classism, when I dropped down a class, when I moved from Hidden Valley to Westwood, my daddy told me and he showed me it ain't where you live, it's how you live. My daddy told me that going into the 9th grade because he had to deal with some pride issues. To have lived middle class in Hidden Valley, to lose his home, to lose his job, to lose it all and drop his family down a class. So now I'm in a neighborhood where a reflection of that class is all around me. And I ride the bus to South Mac to get in advanced classes with nobody who rode the bus with me. But during that summer, I got my first piece of ass. You see what I'm saying, man? Now, certain things that used to matter didn't matter to me no more. And I told my mama, get me out of them classes, mama. I don't want to be in them classes no more. And the only difference between an advanced class and a regular class in school is the effort. That's the only difference between middle class, lower class, and high class. It's the effort. We all wake up every day to run the play. It's about the effort to score the first down, the effort to get the touchdown, the effort to defend, the effort to say, God damn it, I'm going to win. It's the only thing that separates the classes. When I was in advanced classes, only thing the teacher did was gave us the assignment and gave us the source and said, find the answers and you will be judged and tested on them. And after you find the answers and judge and test on them, you will have an exam to see how much that you could remember from what you found. And so when I got to high school, I realized that requires the effort that I ain't want to give no more. So I told my mama, take me out of them classes, because my first report card, I had all C's and D's. And I missed the 2.0 by 1 point. And I couldn't play the last game of the season, my 9th grade year. And even though that was an MVP year, the coach said, because you didn't get to finish the season, I can't give you your trophy. So I made a decision, an irresponsible, a juvenile, a minor decision to tell my mama that, Mama, I don't want to apply this effort no more. Can you take me out of this advanced classes and put me in regular classes? And she did. And from that point on, I never had to put effort in school anymore. I sat in a class where the teacher gave me the assignment, gave me the source and told me where the answers were, then shared the answers with me. And all I had to do was just remember this shit and put it down at the end of the week. And they say I'm smarter than a motherfucker. See how that works. But I sat in a room. I sat in a classroom. That wasn't advanced or academically gifted. And I was. So I came down to class only to evade an effort. So when I look at our brothers and sisters in the lower class, I realize that they're only there because they don't understand the effort. They don't understand the decency within them. Lil Boonshika sat in there because she ain't never been taught. And maybe she have. But we can open that box up to unpack that reality. But regardless of what it was, I looked in her daughter's eyes. I looked in her daughter's eyes and empathized with it enough to know this is why I stopped going to them meetings. Because I can go sit in that 12-year-old girl class. A memory came up, my big brother Crump. This is a true story about sitting in a child's class. My big brother Crump sent me a picture today. Came up in my memories. 2016, I went to Ransom Middle School. They had a career day. I went there under Trav P, hero training, hood soul. I'm an artist and I'm a teacher. They gave me a 6th grade class for 3 hours. I sat in their class and we hero trained. We had a powerful time. The teacher even said, I need this. I need this. The teacher was in class. And so a couple of weeks after that, I went to my son and my daughter's school for a program. And a little girl, she's on the, I'm gonna post the picture, but she's on the front of this picture. Ran up to me and hugged me. Hey, Mr. Trap. And her daddy looked at me in confusion and damn near ready to get in his pivot stance. Who is this? And I said, man, I taught at her school, man. And she went to explaining. And then, man, it ended in a pound. I said, yeah, man, appreciate that, brother. But it's to say, man, when I look in them children's face, man, can you go sit in their class, man, and teach? But the premises is sitting in their class. The premises of you watching me right now, you're in my class. And I ain't saying it's in mine, as in mine. I'm saying it is in we, as in our. See, one of the most powerful things about being real and sincere, I get some of the most encouraging moments, man. They say, who teaches the teacher? Who inspires the inspirer? Who motivates the motivator? In the most purest moments, man, I get my most inspiration, motivation, deepest lessons. For those that if you looked at the circumstances from the outside in, you would think that, hey, man, hey, they want everything I got. I live the life that they would want to live, but no, that ain't the case. Because the class that I operate from is deeper than what the eyes can see. So that's why I say, man, when you get into true heroism and you begin to understand, man, what it is and how it works, just like when you look at the stories of the hero and you use Superman and you realize that there's Clark Kent and there's Superman. And there's a purpose for the two. There's two different forms of the man. So when I say I'm a transformer, there's many different forms of me. I'm way deeper than what the eyes can see. And so when you operate from the class from within, a man that perceived to have nothing can be your most valuable friend. You see how that works? Do you see how that works? We're going to get out of here, man. I love y'all, man. We're going to get out of here, man. We're going to get out of here. Yeah, but we're going to get out of here with a jam. We're going to get out of here with a jam because that's what we do. Because that's what we do. You know what I mean? Hey, man. Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's so real. It's real as it is. So real, so real. Oh, I'm so thankful that we got something that's also real. It's real as it is. So what we got is also real. Hey man, I love y'all, man. This ain't nothing but a whole nother episode, man. I come off the soul. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I've got a kind of feeling that I spit some fire today. And it's gonna stay that way, man. Yeah, this the realest shit you gonna hear right here, man. If you think you can outdance me to my own goddamn beat, man, you crazy, man. I'm in a whole other class when it comes to grooving, man. It's real as it is. Oh, so real.